Hey guys, it's Jenny with JennyProRealtor here talking to you about fear in wealth and how to grow wealth without being fearful and understanding the economic times on if it's the right time to start working on building your wealth. This is Jenny with JennyProRealtor. We'll tune in right here. All things real estate, where we dive into how to manage real estate processes, get tips on building an investment profile, create space for how to build a passive income, and most of all, how to navigate all things real estate. Here is your host, JennyProRealtor, who went from being a single mom to building an empire with over $1 million in assets in real estate. She is our expert, a twin plus one mom, and relates to the average income holder to how to build their empire and grow wealth in real estate. Hey guys, it's been a little bit. I have been busy with my motherhood life and working. I feel like I really work on my marketing when it comes to wintertime, and then I'm really busy in the summertime. And so I don't get around to making a lot of podcasts and videos. Obviously, I need to, which is why we're here today talking about how to let go of your fear in building with wealth. Here's the thing. When you build wealth, there's some key factors involved, and risk is one of them. Understanding the economic times, making sure you're up and tuned with understanding what's happening to know if you should build your profile and growing your own wealth. And give you a little bit of background on my story, I started growing my wealth after my divorce, and I ended up buying my own single family home, I should say townhome, but my own home, and turned it into a rental before I moved on to my next home. There's a lot of different ways on how to do this. I have long-term goals that I want to work towards, and I have to make sure I'm paying attention to my own family life when building those goals. As a real estate agent, I love teaching people how to build their own real estate profile and move forward and leveraging their own money. There's ways to do that using credit unions, using lenders, understanding how to negotiate and trade, which is all of my expertise and professionalism. But I'm someone like a CPA where you can put me in your pocket and you can pull me out at any time and say, hey, when should be a good time to remodel? How much money am I going to make on this remodel? What does this area of the subdivision look like? The sky's the limit when it comes to real estate. And I'm so excited. It makes my blood pump. I grew up around real estate. I grew up understanding what it's like to run my own business. I watched my father gain his own commercial profile and understanding what it's like to lose and to fail in real estate and how to get back up and to try again and to learn how to build a retirement profile, which is something I'm on the roadmap to doing today. So when you want to get started, let's say you own your first home, or if you don't own your first home, let's talk and try to get that in and underway. Having the mindset of being able to be an investor in real estate is the number one goal when purchasing everything in real estate. Purchasing your first home, the mom and pa easily can do this. There's plenty of loans out there right now. They can give you a home with putting no money down and making sure you qualify for good interest rates. It's my job as a real estate agent to negotiate and to work with sellers to get to the price to what you need and what you can afford in the monthly mortgage. Looking at that monthly mortgage, also forecasting what the potential renters might look like and what that income could be. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow is everything. A lot of people call it ROI, the return on investment, making sure you have cash flow and knowing that the cash flow is going to be your key to success in real estate. Then you know that you can move on to the next home by pulling out possibly some equity in that home and leveraging that home to purchasing the next home, whether it's an investment home or a private home. A lot of people do this with private homes because the mortgage loans are better. You don't have to put as much down, you get better interest rates, and in the long term, you're paying less money than if you weren't to go buy an investment home right out. Now you're saying, I don't want to move from home to home to make this possible. Well, I always say, look at your family's dynamics and look at where you're at. Are you able to do that with just one home? Are you able to do it 2 homes? Or you do this in a 4 to 5 year plan and you're moving within the next 5 years before your kids hit the public school systems? Then from there, you can say, now we have enough equity that we've sat on and we can leverage that equity within our properties to purchase the next one. Whether we leverage that money or we pull out and sell and use that equity to move forward on what's called a 1031 exchange. All of these things I will guide you on, as it is a roller coaster of understanding what decisions to make, the mapping out what kind of properties, what the cash flow is going to look like, and what your portfolio and your goals are going to be. Moving forward, it is something to understand that there's going to be fear in every step and situation that you're going to make. When I'm faced with fear, I make sure I'm looking at things analytically and logistically of how and where my fear is actually coming from. When you're working with investments, it is not necessarily emotional based. I work with a lot of emotions with people who are buying their personal homes. But when you're working with investment, you need to let the numbers talk more than we can. And that's where I come in and I will lay out the numbers for you, map out what the ROI, the return on investment, is going to look like for you, how much cash you're going to need to be putting down, if there's going to be any improvements that are going to be needed to make, any remodels, upgrades, fixes, roofs, you name it, what you're looking at, and calculating that into the numbers and all the spreadsheets that come forward and understanding if this is going to be the right property. As you get smarter and smarter, we can come up with a percentage of what that ROI will look like for you. We're talking a 5-year, 10-year roadmap down the road, and the economy is always going to be moving and fluid in these things. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth the risk to invest in real estate in a 10-year mark when I don't know what the economy is going to look like? That's where you always have to reflect on the past. The past is a good reflection of the future. And looking in the past, investments are always and has always been the number one most successful investment for anybody when trying to build a retiring profile, especially if you want cash flow. So for example, I have a cash flow of $100,000 every month on the 3 properties that I have. What can I do with that cash flow? How do I set that aside? I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm definitely the one who can advise you on your next moves and setting your goals and making sure you're moving forward. Now, when you're looking at fear versus risk, you have to ask yourself, what's more fearful, the cash flow or the lack of cash flow? Understanding the market and realizing you do have to go in debt to make these things. But if you focus on the cash flow, the debt doesn't really matter because you're end up going to build, you're going to be building an appreciation in the homes. I calculated this for our home that my husband and I have in Midville that is a dual complex. And we looked at this and we said, do we want to sell it? We have this much equity in it and we make this much a year. Well, the equity in it is over $300,000. If we pulled out, we would have to do what's called a 1031 exchange so that we weren't taxed 20 to 30% on those gains. Or we could look at the cash flow and how much money we're making a year. And when you look at the cash flow, you have to look at not only the pocket money that you're taking, also the appreciation that you're making on the property annually. And looking at that, we were making around $30,000 a year on that property. Now, that's not all cash flow. That a lot of that is appreciation plus the pocket change that you're getting from your renters. Now, you're going to have property taxes, you're going to have fixes, you're going to have upgrades. Those can all be calculated into it as well. Everything in real estate is a numbers game. Everything in real estate is about negotiations and making two parties happy, which is why I'm in this business. I'm going to keep this video short and simple. And do know that if you have specific fears about the economy, specific about interest rates rising, over the life and span of interest rates, we have been an average about 6% over the last 10 to 15 years. Your appreciation on a property in Utah, whether it's investment or personal, will appreciate between 8 to 12% annually. You do the math on that one. Rents right now, averagely in Utah, are over $1,000 for less than 1,000 square feet. Massive, massive returns that can be happening. I always say, let's find the property, look at the numbers because they can talk better than I can. Reach out. Let's find out how we can start your profile and growing your wealth and working together. This is Jenny with JennyProRealtor. Hope to hear from you soon.